There are really a wide variety of different ways that you can build Amazon product pages with Fresh Store Builder. Now, despite this variety of ways, you may want to focus on just one or two of them. You can search for products based on keyword phrases by going to products and then go to find products. You can also search based on ASINs if perhaps you have already researched particular products on the Amazon website that you know you want to add to your site. You can find those by simply recording the ASIN off of Amazon and then later add them in through Fresh Store Builder this way. But if you need to hunt down your products, you go to products and find products, and then you can type in a keyword phrase to try to find what you are looking for. Now, the search index option here gives you a choice of a variety of different categories that are on Amazon. So if you want to limit your results to a particular category, you can refine it by selecting a particular category here. There could be a variety of reasons why you would want to do that. Maybe a keyword phrase that you are using brings up a bunch of different kinds of results. For example, if you just search the word TV or 1080p or HD or something of that nature, you're going to get all kinds of different products that have those features, but you might only be wanting something from a certain kind of category. So that'll help you to find what you are looking for a little easier. Now, once you actually perform a search here, you're going to be shown a listing of products along with their sales rank and ASIN. You also have this little plus icon over to the side. Whenever you click on the plus icon, you're generating an entire page on your website for this Amazon product. However, you want to make sure you're actually selecting a category before you click on the plus icon. Otherwise, you're going to end up with what is called orphan products. You can actually view orphan products here to find out if maybe you miss a category selection at some point. And then you can edit those products and actually sort them back into a category so they will show up on your website correctly. So with that said, I made a search for cake pop mold. This would be more molds rather than accessories that I would add to my site. And so when I find something that I want to add on, all I really have to do is go over here and click the plus button. But the information that you're being given here sometimes isn't enough information to go on to actually decide whether or not you really want to promote that product. So this little Amazon icon right here allows you to go and view that actual product on Amazon so you can find out more about it. Find out what the review ratings are. Find out what the price is. You can even go a little deeper than that and read the actual reviews. Some of these reviews can help you to figure out whether or not this might be a quality product to promote. There's actually somebody here giving a pretty bad review about it. Something that might make me not want to promote that product. Other times you can find useful information in the reviews that you can use to help you write custom descriptions for the products. So this particular product, I'm not going to add in because it didn't look like a quality product over on Amazon. But I could continue my search and try to find enough products to complete my website with. Now, you might be inclined to want to add a lot of products to your website. However, you'll really be better off carefully choosing products that you think people are most likely going to be wanting to buy based on the type of content that you're going to be giving them and based on the keyword phrases that you're going to be targeting on your site. You can use that information to help you make a more educated decision about which products should actually sell better. And if they don't end up selling, you can always take them down and replace them with other products and try other tactics and approaches in the future. So once you do find something, just click on the plus button, and it only takes a split second or so, and you get a little checkbox. And now this page is actually live on your website. So the different categories that you created originally for your products, you can view these by going to categories and view categories. You can also add new categories this way, or even group your categories together. This is where you want to add your products into. And as I said before, you don't want a ton of them, because what you're going to have to do is actually go through each of the products you are adding and do some customization to that product page. This is going to help you to get better search rankings, and it's going to help to keep Amazon considering you as a highly valuable affiliate. You need to bring something else to the table. You can't just slap up a page that is a duplicate of Amazon's information and expect to get paid for it. You have to at least put something forth that shows you bring something to the table. So whether you add your products manually, like I was just showing you, or whether you decide to have them automatically created, you're still going to need to actually go through and edit those products. Now, each of these categories, you can obviously go through this categories and view categories to view a listing of them. You can edit the individual category itself by clicking on the name of it to where you can change the title, descriptions of the page, meta information, things of that nature. For example, look at the meta description. It says molds at Cake Pop Molds. This is just the category name added to the name of your site. But this is not really going to be useful to somebody viewing your site on a search engine. So it's important to actually go through and customize this content. What you can do, though, is view the category on your site This allows you to see the products and kind of visualize everything that's going to be going on in terms of what your visitors are going to see. And then you can just click on different aspects like the title here and the description at the top and the description that's at the bottom. These are your title, top description, and bottom description fields here where you would be editing the page. So while you can make the adjustments on the live page here, there is some minor fine-tuning that you need to do as far as things like customizing the meta description. And honestly, customizing your meta title as well as the actual title of the page itself can help you immensely in terms of actually getting search rankings for this particular page. Now the options here gives you different things like ways to hide the category if you don't want to use it, or ways to group it together or put it into some kind of a hierarchy with other categories. But for the most part, the titles and content and SEO and meta are the two sections you're going to want to worry about. Now, in addition to that, you have other aspects like category images. This allows you to actually put some visualization to each of your categories, to where you can choose an image, and in places where these categories are listed, Fresh Store Builder will put in some kind of icon or thumbnail for you. So people won't just see the word of your category. They'll actually get something to visualize what is in that category too. Now, this can certainly be optional, but doing little things like this to customize your website even more can go a long way to make it look more appealing to visitors. And also, all of these things are extra search engine content too. These images, the titles that you're using of these images. Think keyword placement when you're doing stuff like this. You don't want to overdo the keyword placement, but strategically having things that relate to your targeted keyword phrase throughout your page and throughout your website will go a long way to help you to get better search rankings. Now, one other thing I want to point out with the categories is the auto-populate. If you didn't want to manually search for products, or maybe you wanted new products to be continually added to your site, you can set up auto-populate settings for each of your individual categories. Notice I'm in the mold category still. You then go over here and click on Add Auto-Populate Settings, and then you can do certain things like providing a search term, search categories. You even have additional filters that you can use to fine-tune exactly what's going to get added to your website. And then if you go to Tools and change parameters, you can change even more settings in there that'll actually adjust how frequently these products are getting auto-posted to your website, whether they get posted live or whether they wait for you to make some kind of customization to it before they get published. Now, personally, I'm more of a find the product and manually add it to my site kind of guy. I don't like a lot of automated page creation because I'm always customizing the pages that I put forth. So personally, I use that method. I would encourage you to do so as well, especially in the beginning of your site creation, but I did at least want to point out these other settings like the auto-populate options, because you may eventually reach a point where you have enough unique content on your site and you might want to continue expansion. Maybe you're going to be writing some daily or weekly new post on your site. In that case, it might be okay to have a little bit of daily or weekly automated content being posted on your site. It just kind of depends on what your activity level is. But personally, I like to keep my unique content 50% or more of all the content on my site. And 2/3 or more is even better than that. If you can go 100% unique content, obviously that's the most ideal situation. But it is okay to scale that back slightly to try to save yourself a little bit of time and effort. It's just important to be careful not to scale that too much to where your automated content and your auto-generated pages start to outweigh that unique content and all of those unique pages that you're actually creating yourself. So now with the individual products, you essentially have the same thing going on with these products that I was pointing out for the categories. You have different aspects that you can customize, such as the title, the manufacturer description, the product features. You also have things like the customer reviews. You can actually add your own review in. So your initial products don't start as having no rating whatsoever. Now, I wouldn't recommend going through and giving them all 5-star ratings. Rank some better than others to show people that you're not just trying to say every product is great to try to get them to buy it. To show them that you actually care, to say, hey, these products actually are better than some of these other ones. Stuff like this can go a long way to make your site more useful for your visitors, but also to, once again, help you to get better search rankings. So I mentioned before that any ad pages that you create on your site, that you want to go through and customize them. Once again, there are 2 different ways that you can actually do this. You can browse your live website once you have added the products. You can look at your all products listings, or you can go to each individual category and look at the products listed there and go to the pages one by one and actually edit them live here. You can also edit the pages individually. Up at the top, you can even jump to these edit pages using this icon right here. You can see if you hover over them, it'll tell you what these do. Look for the one that says edit, the little white pencil, and this will get you to the page that actually allows you to edit everything that is here. Because ultimately, what you're seeing here and what is available for you on this edit page here, there's a lot of difference in terms of there's things going on in the background that you don't actually see or notice on the public page, but it can make a big difference in terms of customizing your website and making it unique to the point where Google will respect it and willingly send you a lot of traffic. So just like the categories, while you can edit them on the live pages themselves, and you also have other options that you can use to kind of automate the editing. I'll show you one of these in just a moment. What you really should focus on doing, though, is going into the individual pages and actually editing them like you see here. So you get all the different options available to you so you can truly customize it. Now, you don't have to browse through your website to find these. You can actually go to products and view all products, and then you can just click on the name of any one of these products here, and you'll get to this edit page for it, just like you see here. Now, I want to walk you through some of the things that I would recommend for you to focus on when you're editing your products. These are going to be things that are going to have the most impact on your final results in terms of your search traffic and even your sales that you actually refer on these products. Number one, your title. This is the product title that is repeated off of Amazon. This comes direct from Amazon. And so anybody else that is creating a product page with this software, and even with basically any other Amazon software that uses Amazon API, they're all going to have this exact same title. That's a problem when you want unique content, because you're not going to stand out from everybody else by using that exact same title. What you want to do is try to figure out how you can kind of simplify this title to the point where you might be going more after a title that relates to a keyword phrase that people search for this product. There's no way there's keyword traffic or anything significant for it for this entire long rambling phrase. Nobody would ever search for that unless they're trying to find their own page in Google and that page has this exact title. What people would really search for is more what the actual product is, and maybe the brand name. It kind of depends on the product, really. You have things like brand names, model numbers that people will often search for particular products. So those can always be great things to use in the title. But then you have other products where there is not a clearly defined model or anything of that nature that people actually identify and would then be searching for to try to find it. They would more likely be using a reference to the brand name and the type of product that it is. So this particular one here, it's an all for home, essentially a flower and leaf shape. And it is a mold. A lot of these other words here are simply fluff keyword words. Amazon uses a less sophisticated searching algorithm, and vendors will use these long, extravagant titles to try to bring in more traffic from direct Amazon searches. So they're not necessarily worrying as much about Google, although Google still picks up these titles and will often give these products a halfway decent ranking for some of these phrases too. Well, you don't need to do all this keyword spam on your actual website. Plus, you want to stand out from everybody else. So I could simply reduce this entire thing to say all for home rattan shape flower and leaf silicone mold. Short and sweet, yet meaningful. A lot more so than this long thing right here. Now the link title is similar to your title, except this is what will actually be displayed on your live website. When you're viewing the actual title here, and then back in your category where it is linked right here, these would be your links. So you can change what it says here to also make it something more meaningful by adjusting the link title here. Now also notice that you only have a limited amount of space. So sometimes you'll be better off trying to shorten your titles to where the entire thing will actually show up with the image. However, if you run a little bit over, it's not that big of a deal, because sometimes the actual page title and certain keyword phrases and things of that nature that you might be trying to target there can be more important than simply avoiding the overflow here with your product title links. So now you have other aspects to this product. You have a product description, a secondary description, and key features. But notice only one of these boxes is filled in. However, if I go to the page on my live website, you'll see somewhat different information. I have my product features down here. This is the paragraph that's down at the bottom where it says key features. However, this whole section where it says manufacturer description, this is not showing up on this page. So the question is, where is that information? It's actually in the next tab down where it says Amazon content. This is your manufacturer description. Now you have two boxes here, and they're actually going to be identical to start with. But you only want to edit one of them. You leave the bottom one alone, and you change the top one that says Amazon description. This is what is actually going to display on the site, and this is the original content. It keeps that saved in the system even after you edit this description. So when you want to make your changes to this top section here, you need to be in this second tab to actually do so. On top of that though, when you make a change, this product will be updated in the Fresh Store Builder system in the future. So if you want to avoid those updates, wiping out any of these custom changes that you're making, you need to lock them. So for this page, for the Amazon description only, you can lock just that description, and then this will always be used. It won't automatically replace it with the new updated description from Amazon when it updates this product again. So this is really important, or else you may go to your website one day and find that all of your unique content changes were simply wiped out and they're gone. Now, what I would truly recommend to do for each of these products is to actually go through and make as many customizations to the content as you possibly can. And this is especially going to be true with your description and your features that are listed down below and the title of the product itself. This will give you the biggest impact in terms of giving you a fighting chance for good search rankings for these product pages, even though at the heart they're still automatically generated. You're just changing up the actual text content that is found there. Now, the product description and secondary description, if you want to add a lot of additional content to the point where maybe you wanted to do a really in-depth review and have different subsections of content going throughout your page, you can add those things to these two areas here. So just to show you here real quick exactly what's going to be taking place, I want to refresh this page so you can see some of my initial changes now. You can see that the title of my page is now considerably shorter. It looks a lot better, and it's a lot more meaningful at a quick glance. Down below, here is the product description that I added in here, just a quick little example. This shows up above all of the other text content that is going on this page. Then you have the manufacturer description, then the product features, and finally the secondary description will be all the way down at the bottom. And now they label this one as product description and they label this one as product information. However, if you want to change any of these phrases that are used for these different sections, you can actually do that really easily. If I go to template and template options, and then click on template options over here on the side, I have a lot of different aspects in terms of header text titles that are going to be used throughout my page. Some of them are from the home page. Others are going to be for the product pages. You can see a little further down the list, we have a lot that say product or display product. You can find each of those different aspects here. Product description, manufacturer description, product features, and product information. You can also choose whether to show or hide the different aspects for each of the products. So it makes it easy to go through and customize all of this stuff. So if you have a particular need for maybe adding a certain kind of information for the products, and it's something that you're going to carry out throughout all of the products on your site, you can set up some of these additional fields like product description or the secondary description to be used for those purposes. That way you can build a really long, in-depth review. Now, I mentioned before that you do want to heavily customize your content. But this existing content that is already here, you may want to keep it, or you may want to only keep some of it, or you may want to completely customize all of it. It really is just going to kind of depend from one situation to the next. And it will also depend on how heavily you're planning on adding other unique content to your page. For example, if I did my own really long, in-depth review and I put it up here in my product description, and maybe even had some closing information down here in the product secondary description, I could possibly leave these two sections completely as they are if my unique content would outweigh this automated content. However, if it's not going to be that kind of a situation where maybe I don't want to do a really in-depth review, maybe there's too much information here to where it's always going to outweigh my content, or maybe this information simply isn't higher quality content. You should always read through it and ask yourself, does this make sense for my website visitors, or does it make things confusing for them at all? For example, in the product features, things like every order to the USA can be tracked from USPS.com, say 5% at least when purchase more than one item from All in Home. Some terminology like this may not be the best fit for what it is that you're trying to accomplish. That and a lot of this information will sometimes not be formatted nicely. So you can easily go through and basically take the same information that they give you, but rearrange it yourself to where it sounds good, and then you're also making it unique in the process. For example, with this product, I could change this around and make it something more geared towards my actual site, where it's for cake pops. I could talk more about the silicone molds, the cake pops, maybe using this as a decoration, perhaps. You can see that you get a delicate flower mold from something like this. So you wouldn't really be making a full cake pop this way, but this could be used as a decoration for the outside of a cake pop, or maybe for a place setting for displaying your cake pops. So we can use stuff like that to relate the product to our customers. That way, we're getting the unique content out of it, and we're providing value, and we're likely going to be increasing the chances that they'll actually purchase these products because we're relating it to them. We're making it more appealing to them, and we're trying to sell it in a different way than what other people might be trying to sell it. So we're taking a unique angle on it as well sometimes because our website is centered around a very small niche. So for this product, I could say something like this silicone mold is food grade, easy to use, and cleans quickly. While you can't make a cake pop with this mold because it is going to be too small and delicate, it is actually a great option for designing fancy cake pops. Simply fill the mold with melted chocolate chips and or flavored chips mixed with a frosting. and then break apart after baking. Sorry, not after baking, after cooling. This isn't a baking mold. Then break apart after cooling and use the flower pieces as decorations for your cake pops. Another great option is to use the delicate fancy chocolate hole as part of a place setting for displaying your cake pops. Now I could keep some of this standard information like size, but maybe change it up a little bit slightly to where it reads a little better, perhaps. So you can see how I'm using the content that Amazon gives me, but I'm changing it up. I'm making it unique. Ultimately, I didn't go out and research or have to learn anything to do that simple adjustment. Now I can wipe out my old content here and keep my new product features. I can even fancy it up a little bit. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I could add some bold HTML tags around certain things like technical features like sizes. So what you can see me doing here, you want to continue this for all of your products that you add to this site. The more customization like this that you do, the better results you will end up seeing. And since you're putting forth the effort to create these entire websites, you might as well put in an extra part of a day or an extra day or two to actually customize these product pages to do even better with it. Now, I don't want to sit here for hours rewriting and writing content for you guys. That's not the intention of this training course, even though I do want to let you look over my shoulder as I am building this site. I want to teach you more about the different important aspects that you should be focusing on, though, when you are creating these product pages and customizing your content, and how you can actually proceed with getting that content or learning about the things you're going to need to write it yourself. So beyond kind of taking the things that Amazon gives you and rearranging it, rewriting it in your own words to make it unique, other options that you have are things like going over to Google. And I could try to search for the actual product, perhaps. Now, since I've customized this, I don't know exactly if I'll get what I'm looking for or not. I don't know if this product even exists elsewhere outside of Amazon. Sometimes these products, and sometimes even the brands for these products, are completely unique to Amazon. But other times, you'll have major brands like Dell.com, for example, will have a brand listing on Amazon and have products there. So it will vary from one product or one brand company to the next. But basically, you can sometimes find information on Google, or you can even use the Amazon website itself for additional information. Now, while you have things like this information here, you can see this is what was translated over onto my website as the features for this product. But in addition to that, if I keep scrolling through here, I see my product description that was also taken over to my website. But then I have these two sections that I consider to be pretty important if you want to learn more about a product, and especially if you want to be able to write unique content that provides people with useful information without really having to kill yourself with research. If you look for the question and answer section, now this doesn't always exist, but sometimes it will. But then you also have the customer review section. You can read through what people say about the products. And they'll often say really important stuff. People will say these molds are too shallow to use, don't know how to use them properly. So you can talk about these kinds of things in your content. You do not want to copy these actual reviews. Let me emphasize that. What you want to do is learn what they're telling you and write about that kind of stuff in your own words to make it useful for your site visitors. This is unique content to Amazon though, and they will not be happy if you just try to copy and paste somebody's review and put that content directly on your website. So certainly don't do that. But do use this information to help you to make more useful, in-depth, unique pages. You can see from the question and answer section, sometimes it's really small like this. Other times you'll have links to go and see even more questions or to see even more answers to these particular questions. I was actually a little incorrect. It says here the quickest way to get the flowers to set is to actually bake them. So you actually do bake these, and it is oven safe. So information like this can quickly clue you into really important stuff that's going to matter to the person that ends up buying this product, while you don't really have to spend a ton of time trying to learn it. So I highly encourage you to use the resources available to you in the reviews, the question and answers, and also on Google by looking for other websites that have information about that product. Use those resources and create in-depth, unique reviews for the products that are actually on your website. And this will go a long, long way to helping you to bring in even more traffic to your site, especially through these product pages. Now, I could obviously spend a lot of time sitting here writing unique content for you guys. So that is not my intended purpose, but I hope, despite not actually sitting through and writing a lot of unique content, despite, modifying some of these key features and stuff like this for you, you should be able to get a pretty good idea of what it is that your goal should be with modifying and adding to this content here. And I really have a lot of other aspects to talk about having to do with product creation, so I do want to proceed on so I can cover some of those for you. In the SEO and Meta tab here, you have your meta description, your meta title, and also your page name that sometimes might be worthwhile to modify. The meta title here is getting set based on the title of my page. So just like I modified it, I can take that same modified title over to my meta title and modify it there as well. Also keep in mind that a lot of the automatically generated pages are going to have the same page names. That is the same page URL in addition to your actual domain name. So you could easily try to simplify these. And you don't always have to be including like the brand names. I like to avoid constant repetition in my URLs of my different pages that are on my website. So while I might have a couple of different all for home products, I would want to avoid repeating that over and over again in my page URLs. So here I might just say Radin flower and leaf mold. Or even go for silicone mold, since mold has a negative meaning to it as well if just used on its own. So you can see how I've simplified it just a little bit, shortened my page URL, and also changed it from the default URL that a lot of other affiliates will end up with as the URL if they happen to promote this same product. Now my meta description is coming direct from that manufacturer's description. So this is certainly something that you want to customize. But you're limited in the number of characters that you can use. You can see right here, meta description should be no longer than 180 characters. So I essentially want a short summary for the page that also contains unique content, but it should also be something that is appealing for website visitors. In terms of, they're going to see my title and likely this meta description on the search engine before they actually come to my website. So these things can be used to try to entice them to click on my search result. And this can actually give me better results off of the search rankings that I have. Whereas a poorly crafted meta description, something like this that is not meaningful and looks like it was automatically generated, this is not going to help me to get clicks off of Google. So I want to, again, put something meaningful that relates to my product that also helps to entice people to click on it. So I could say something like, read our in-depth review on this mold and find out some of our recommendations for using it along with cake pop creations. Short, sweet, to the point, leaves a little bit of mystery there, so people are enticed to click on it to go and find out what it is that I'm talking about. Now, other things that you can do through this product page are not necessarily as important as customizing those top 3 tabs. However, doing things like modifying the category for the product or changing the manufacturer for it, you should have a really good reason to want to do these types of things if they were incorrectly sorted to begin with, for example. The tag system I actually don't use. If you had a website that was 100 pages or more, you could consider looking into using the tag system in Fresh Store Builder. Otherwise, I would completely ignore it. It's disabled by default and so simply leave it that way. You have other things like attributes, where you can go up to products here, and you can actually edit and even create completely new attributes for products. Attribute could be something like, let's say, with a television, or maybe a computer. A computer might be a better example. You have different specs for the computer. You can display things like that as an attribute, where the attribute itself might be something like CPU or memory or hard drive. And then you have setting the attributes here allows you to select an attribute that you have created and then set a value for it. So you would actually then, for each product, provide the information for those attributes. Like you would provide what the actual CPU power is. You would provide what the actual memory in that computer is. You would tell them it's a 1 gigabyte hard drive or whatever the case may be. This allows you to get more in depth and create more stylish looking product reviews. Although you can consider this to be optional, it is okay to simply write the content in more of a text and paragraph format. But things like the attributes can help to break up that kind of content. Now you have other things like related products. Down at the bottom of any product page, you have these related products and they're automatically selected for you. Well, if you wanted to show very specific products there, maybe you had a couple that closely lined up with each other or went together and you wanted people to be enticed to maybe buy them together or something like that, you can manually select your products through here that will show up as the related products. One final thing I want to point out is the product images. Now, this particular product only has one image that it's showing. However, I can upload custom images, upwards of a total of 5 images here, even though that can be modified through tools and change parameters. Well, with some products on Amazon, if I click through to couple other examples. Here we go. I can find one pretty quickly. This product here has multiple images, and I can flip through a little slideshow of these images. These are all coming from Amazon, but you can also, like I was showing you there, customize these images and add your own to the mix. Or when you're editing, you can choose which image is the default image for the product. Maybe you like this one better because it's on a white background or something like that. You can also choose which images are actually enabled to display. As you can see here, there's a lot of images for this one, but they're not all going to be able to display. So you can go through and enable individual ones to pick and choose which ones will actually show up. And this can be really helpful, especially if you start to upload your own custom images. So you can mix and match Amazon's images with your own images even to create even more unique product pages. Things like this, your average affiliate is really not going to be taking the time to do. And so when you do these types of things, you can really help to set yourself apart from the competition. Now, a couple of other things I want to point out relating to product page and ad creation in Fresh Store Builder that will be important to you with building your website. Number one is something called offer list products. With offer list products, Fresh Store Builder will automatically detect when products are no longer available or they run out of stock on Amazon. So it'll give you a listing here, and anything that's showing in this listing, if you go and you view that product on your live website, you're going to see that the product is currently not available or currently not in stock. And so you can choose whether or not you want to remove the product completely, or one thing that you might want to do is click on the Amazon link here. Go and view that product on Amazon and see if you can find out anything more specific about it. For example, you can sometimes see when the last purchase was made, or vaguely when the last purchase was made, based on when reviews are coming through. If you look in the right-hand column, a little ways down the page, can sometimes be halfway down the page or so, you'll find the most recent customer reviews. Look for how often they were published, or specifically how long ago they were published. And you can sometimes use that as an indication to tell when this product was last in stock. The more popular products, as long as you can find fairly recent reviews for them, will likely come back in stock again. The creator of this product probably wants to put more up so they can continue selling them. Maybe they just ran out of them though and they're waiting on their order to come in. So you can use this information to determine whether they'll leave that product on your page because it will be back before too much longer, or you can decide to completely remove the product from your site if you think it's not going to be back in stock anytime soon. You can also continually monitor this page to see if any of the same products remain out of stock. Maybe you think this product's going to come back, but check it again in a week after that. And if it's still not back, maybe it would be time to go ahead and pull it down off of your website. Maybe look for an alternative product that you could promote in its place. Sometimes you can even retain your search traffic and stuff by simply modifying your product page in one way or another. Other times, you'll want to completely wipe out what you've done and replace it with a completely different brand, a completely different model, but it might be still a similar type of product. Now, one other thing that you could do with products that's pretty cool is to create a product bundle. Now, a product bundle works just like a normal page on your website, where you're going to have a title and a link title and descriptions and key features. You're also going to have your SEO and meta information as normal. However, there are two main differences with a bundle page than with the other types of pages. Number one, you have categories for your bundles, and these categories are your product categories. So you can create a bundle of products and have it show up in a category on your site. So think about it this way. Let's say you have very carefully organized product categories on your site. And maybe you only have a couple different products in each category and they closely relate together. Maybe even people would want to purchase those products together commonly. Well, what you can do is to take all those products and bundle them up, still have it in the same category, but it gives your visitors a way to buy them all in one fell swoop instead of to have to do it all separately from separate different pages of your website. So you can choose one category. You could even choose all of your categories to display a bundle in, whatever works for whatever it is that you're trying to create. The next thing you do, number 2, is to go to product list here, and you want to actually add products to your bundle. But this is not like when we were searching for products to add to our website. These products are only going to be products that we have already added to our site. So there has to be a product page already in existence on our site for it. And then we can find it through this search product tool. So I could just search cake pop mold, for example, since I know they're going to show up. You don't click a button here. You don't click on Save All yet. You actually hit the Enter key, and it'll get this search to come up. Then you can click on plus next to a product name. When you're done selecting your products for that bundle, then you can click on Save All. Except I obviously have not provided all of my information for this product bundle yet, so it's not allowing me to actually create it in the system. However, I have gone ahead and created one of these product bundles, so I can show you exactly how the final product will look. This right here is the Cake Pop Party Pack, and it is $42.48. And it's essentially a combination of a number of other products that are on my site. But it's designed as being used for a particular purpose. So I can target this in a different way. This is everything you need to make some cake pops, minus your cake mix, and maybe some frosting to go with it, essentially. But it's all of the basic essentials that you need for it. And then I have information and features about this particular bundle. And just like your individual products, people can leave reviews for your bundles as well. And they have related products for them. When people want to buy them, they have your Buy Now button or Add to Cart button up here. Unless there's options for it like this one, select options in order. The lollipop sticks require you to choose a count and a color, and then you're ready to proceed on and actually add it all to your cart. But without that, you would have just your direct Add to Cart buttons here if you didn't have any products in your bundle that had options that people had to select. However, you can still see the products listed individually right here, and people can still click on these individual products and they'll get to that individual page on your site. Now this one is obviously that product I was just showing you that's recently become non-available. However, I could click on a different one and you can see that I could then go there and buy that product individually. Or I could previously have bought it as a complete bundle. So the bundle system gives you a way to utilize some of the products that you have on your site, but to do it in a unique manner, to give you a unique way of approaching that. Think about the different keyword phrases and the different kinds of topics and uses for products and things of that nature that you could try to target that people might actually be searching for too, using these different types of product bundles. Now, one of the final things that I want to show you having to do with ad creation and the actual product pages on your site is the manufacturer system in Fresh Store Builder. This system allows you to create brand pages